Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. First tonight, a year on from one of the biggest days in Tasmania's football history, a new recruit has been added to the roster. The key position player will be a cornerstone of the club, helping to continue momentum as the countdown to the Devils' AFL debut draws closer.
It's big, it's mighty, and it's the first mascot for the Tasmanian Football Club.
Our new high-impact player, we're delighted to have you on the team.
Some locals might recognise the name, but for those in the dark...
Ramen is known as an odd character, a uniquely Tasmanian character and an affectionate term of endearment for a Tasmanian.
The new mascot, born from a partnership between the Devils and local puppet company Terrapin, taking more than 400 hours to create. And if you look closely, you'll see the different ways it represents our state.
The fur of Ramen is constituted of recycled Tasmanian school uniforms from school children all across Tasmania.
It's very cool, very big.
Ramen's unveiling to the public marks 1 year since the club's launch. The Devils join the VFL and the VFLW next year before entering the AFL in 2028.
Regardless of our allegiance to our traditional clubs, I think we're all going to get behind Tasmania.
But as the clock ticks down, there's still questions surrounding the completion of Macquarie Point Stadium. And with the sod yet to be turned at the High Performance Centre, time is of the essence.
All of those projects are critically important. We're working with the right stakeholders. Time's getting tight, but we're confident in where we're at.
The club also busy negotiating with the AFL on its concessions and rules around recruiting players.
Now is a really important time in the club's journey. It's not the time to be quiet. It's not the time to be comfortable with where we're at. It's the time to make a statement.
But one thing is for sure, they have one pretty accurate kicker well and truly on board. Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasport executives who have been forced to partly shoulder the blame for the Spirit of Tasmania debacle will still receive financial bonuses, according to Labor. The opposition claiming any extra payments to GBE executives would be inappropriate.
This is a company that's overseen the biggest infrastructure stuff up in Tasmania's history. Anybody who wants to argue that they deserve bonus payments for their performance, I think is living on another planet.
Any contractual payments that need to be met to our GBE executives would be met.
The Premier last year ruled out signing off on any performance bonuses, but a government spokesperson says these payments are separate and required by employment contracts. Anti-salmon activists are calling for the RSPCA-approved label to be permanently removed from all of Huon Aquaculture's products. It follows disturbing vision showing live salmon mixing with dead fish, shared publicly by the Bob Brown Foundation. The RSPCA says it's already suspended Huon's certification for 14 days.
It's misleading to the consumer. If you go to a store and you still have that RSPCA tick, you would think that this salmon has been raised well, where the truth of the matter is it has not.
It's up to citizens, members of the community, to go and surveil the industry in order to expose this. That's not appropriate. RSPCA should be doing their due diligence.
Huon Aquaculture maintains it acknowledges the suspension and is participating in the RSPCA's ongoing investigation. There's growing pressure on the state government to release the findings of the Tataka review after the Attorney-General admitted to having received it but not yet making it public. The independent report was commissioned by the government to investigate whether public money was used to fund the legal fees of 26 public servants involved in the Commission of Inquiry. Meg Webb says its release should have been made immediately.
It's time to release this report and to clarify particularly if there are recommendations that any of these legal fees should be repaid because of not acting in good faith.
The government says it received the report on March 5 and is considering the findings. Staff shortages caused almost half of the more than 6,000 lockdowns which occurred across Tasmania's prison system last year, according to right to information documents obtained by the Greens. Of those lockdowns, more than 90% lasted for 4 hours or longer.
We can't let this continue and say it's just an operational matter or it's just a safety matter. When the rights of people are being violated, we have to look at why that's happening and do something about it.
We want the appropriate level of staffing in the prison. We need the prison to run well. Lockdowns are one tool that is used at times.
The government says it's looking to suitably resource the prison system to ensure it is a safe environment for staff and inmates. A new program is aiming to tackle digital disadvantage in Tasmania. 1,000 free laptops have already been handed out to learners under the initiative.
Laptops have become essential for learning in the modern era, but for some, providing their children with one isn't always easy.
Because I'm single mom, it's very hard, but I haven't enough money to buy a laptop.
It's a grim reality for many families struggling in the midst of rising cost of living.
Tasmania has the highest levels of digital exclusion in Australia.
Now a new program is aiming to close this digital divide.
We're providing 1,000 laptops to Tasmanian kids between the years 5 and year 12 to support them through their education.
Tech for Kids Tasmania is helping to break down the barriers associated with digital literacy by mentoring children in computer use and fostering internet safety.
How to put the programs on their computers, how to make them safe so they're not just off accessing whatever they want on YouTube and TikTok.
It's aiming to give all children the best chance for success.
It's really critical, particularly as they're getting towards high school. We've heard from many families now that they just cannot complete their schoolwork if they don't have access to a laptop, particularly at home.
A small gesture with a big impact.
Makes my son's better education. And thanks everyone.
Rebecca Gadaneris, 7 Tasmania News.
Returning to our top local story now, and Lily Thompson joins us live from the mascot launch event. Lily, are there some other initiatives being launched tonight?
Well, Kim, I've just stepped out of all the action where Rumman has proven to be a massive hit, but there is more in store for those ready to cheer on the Devils. Now, it's no secret the club already has a huge following with more than 200,000 founding members signing on, but tonight there's a brand new level of memberships available for fans. It unlocks limited merch, new Devils footies and brand new stickers. Now, you do have to be an existing member to access this, and it does come at an added extra cost of $10, but the club tells me it's well worthwhile. Now, it is important to note with the mascot, Kim, that it's rumman, not ramen, like the traditional Japanese noodle dish. I've heard that a bit today, but I'm sure wherever rumman goes, it's bound to make a lasting impression.
Good old rumman, great. Thanks, Lily. Well, neighbourhood houses across Tasmania could be in line for a share in $1 million investment, allowing them to expand the services offered to the community if federal Labor retains power. New Norfolk Centre, one of many facing a drastic rise in the number of vulnerable locals seeking assistance.
The Derwent Valley Community House sees anywhere between 200 to 900 visitors every week, each person looking for a different kind of help.
The rising cost of living is really causing a lot of people problems. People being able to afford rent and groceries and medication.
The house's co-coordinators say living regionally can often exacerbate a range of challenges that vulnerable locals face.
Mental health, the cost of living, drugs and alcohol dependency.
It's one of 35 neighbourhood centres across Tasmania that could be in line for a $15,000 injection as demand for their services soars.
Supporting people with learner driver mentor programs to offering social inclusion activities. Here we have a program called Happy Hookers, a crochet club.
It's part of a broader $1 million federal investment to boost the kinds of programs that houses can offer.
Here in Tasmania, there is a very strong network of neighbourhood houses and community networks, and they've demonstrated that they do a lot with a small amount of money.
Calls now for further support and funding.
I don't think anything would ever be enough. No. You would always be able to put it somewhere where it's needed.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
A program aiming to break down barriers on the road has been renewed for another 2 years. It aims to help migrants and refugees in the first 5 years of settlement in Australia obtain their driver's licence.
It means a lot to them to be able to integrate into the community,
They can get to drop off, pick up from school for their children. They can do shopping. They can go to their church or mosque.
We've made available $2.8 million over 2 years to assist people in the community to get the driving experience required to get a P1 or the first provisional.
Just under 200 participants have obtained provisional permits in the past financial year. With the grass still freshly cut on its new oval, Legana could be in line for another new sporting facility. If it wins the upcoming election, the coalition has promised to back a project which would open up more space for one of Tasmania's fastest growing sports.
Standing in the outfield of one of the state's newest sporting facilities with a promise to deliver another.
$5 million for basketball courts for a recreation hub here at Legana.
Aiming to keep pace with one of the fastest growing residential areas in Tasmania.
There is a real shortage of sporting facilities in the northern part of the island.
And one of the state's fastest growing sports.
We know that there are school children on a Monday night practicing at 9 o'clock on a Monday evening because they don't have the facilities that are enjoyed in other parts of the state.
The funding would allow West Tamar Council to follow through on long-held plans to complete Legana's sporting precinct, alongside the newly opened oval. It would include 4 basketball courts, as well as areas for indoor cricket and community use.
We think that there's about 14 or 15 sporting groups that will use the facility when it's finished.
A Liberal pitch to woo voters in the marginal seat of Bass, framing the facility as a crucial component of housing availability.
If you want more housing supply, you've got to have the infrastructure being built alongside it.
While the project is contingent upon the opposition winning the federal election, West Tamar Council says it won't be wasting any time once the funding comes through.
Council will be working at a great rate of knots to ensure that we get this up as quickly as we can.
A big promise to match a sport skyrocketing in popularity with young Tasmanians. Tom Crosby, 7 Tasmanian News.
Queen Mary of Denmark is making a return to royal duties after recovering from a mystery illness. The Tasmanian-born royal cancelled multiple engagements after falling ill, including an awards ceremony and a charity foundation event. The 53-year-old had earlier thanked well-wishers with a post on social media, alongside a photograph of a get well card and flowers sent by young girls. Events like Festivale could become easier to pull together. Under new streamlined liquor regulations, organisers will only need to apply for a single liquor licence rather than apply for multiple permits.
It's a long drawn out process. We normally start the first lot in around October, and we are getting the last of the permits normally around that 3rd week of January.
We've got some outdated laws and this is a way that we're seeking to address that.
The government hopes it will help spur on more events.
The Tigers have just sealed a win in their last Shield game. Last night, Caleb Jewell's century was the tipping point for Tasmania to declare in their day-night Shield clash against New South Wales with a whopping 528-run lead. This afternoon, it seemed the visitors were keen to give it a crack until Tasmania began the clean-out. Losing 9 wickets in fairly quick succession, the Tigers ramping up pressure with a strong smell of victory in the air.
There is a scenario. Oh! And out, the leading edge. Well done, Matt Kuhneman.
Krishnan sealing the deal just a few moments ago.
Gone. The nick's taken and the Tigers get the win, the last game of the year.
Despite the victory, the Tigers were already out of contention for the Shield final against South Australia, but New South Wales now can't make it either. In an Australian first, our Tigers women's squad is heading to the Middle East, where they'll play a 4-match T20 round robin in Abu Dhabi. That's followed by 2 50-over matches against Essex and Heather Graham's English side, the Blaze. The 14-strong squad includes local up-and-comers Mia Barwick and Ava Curtis. Hurricanes' Big Bash final hero Mitch Owen has landed himself another international gig, signing on with Pakistan's Super League side Peshawar Zalmi as a supplementary draft pick. He'll play against fellow Hurricane Riley Meredith, who was drafted to rival PSL side Islamabad United. That season runs from mid-April to May. This year's Tasmanian Supercars leg will bring the top 10 shootout to Symmons Plains for the first time. It'll also see the Super 2 Support Series return to the famous track, a golden moment for local drivers Lockie Dalton and Campbell Logan. In his second year racing in the Supercars second tier, Campbell Logan has never had a crack on his home turf. But that will change in May when the Super 2 returns to the track he cut his teeth on racing Hyundai XLs.
You know, I've driven lots of different cars over here in my journey, but to finally be able to race a V8 Supercar, not just drive it here, will be something that's very special to me and very special to my family and the people who have helped get me here.
The format has skipped the Tassie leg in recent years, which means few drivers will have experience on the notorious track.
The first lap for the first race heading down to the hairpin will be a bit of chaos, but that's what we're signed up for, and I'm excited to see if I could, use a bit of my local knowledge and see if that will pay off.
In the main event, Supercars drivers will qualify for pole in a top 10 shootout, the first time in many years at Symmons Plains.
1 to 10 will be separated by point something of a second. 1 to 24 or 25 you're separated by about a second. That is extraordinarily close.
Rookie drivers can only imagine what they're in for.
It's going to be new for me when we come here in May. Very excited. It's a little track, but it provides a whole lot of actions.
Action was Thomas Randall's middle name last year on the track.
Oh, that's going to be a big hit. He's got him, and again. Wow.
And then later in the pits.
It's always been pretty chaotic here, especially when it hasn't been a top 10 shootout, so I think it's going to be more challenging, more exciting for the fans to see us out there.
Good evening. Hobart's 26, the warmest around the state today. Launceston recorded 23, Devonport 20, Burnie 18 degrees, Bushy Park 25 and St Helens 24, Grove at 23 degrees today, Friendly Beaches 22, Lyoweeney and Flinders Island both on 20, Lowhead 19 today, King Island, Smithton and Strawn all 18 degrees. Bit of low cloud today over the western half of the state as well as through Bass Strait. On the bigger picture, large amounts of cloud over Queensland, particularly the far north, patchy cloud over northern WA and central Australia as well. Tomorrow, a fairly slow-moving high pushes away over the Tasman Sea as a cold front fills waters well south of the Bight. Now, this will produce a northerly airstream tomorrow as the 10 to 20 knot northwest and northeast winds will increase to 30 knots over the west and northeast late in the day. And we have a strong wind warning that's been issued for waters east of Flinders Island. Hobart for Wednesday, 25 and mostly sunny, partly cloudy for Geefton, 25 and 26 for Bothwell. Launceston, a high of 26 degrees, a sunny day. Devonport sunny as well, 22 the top and 25 for Cressy. Burnie expecting 21 with a bit of cloud clearing later. Partly cloudy for Strawn, 24 the maximum and 25, a sunny day on King Island. The East Coast, sunny, St Helens 25, 26 for Swansea, Orford 24 tomorrow. On Thursday, fine and mostly sunny at first before showers extend statewide in the afternoon. Fine and partly cloudy on Friday, an isolated shower though over the northeast, and on Saturday showers in the west, otherwise fine and partly cloudy. 27 in Perth tomorrow, sunny and 33 in Adelaide and Melbourne. A late shower for Canberra, but fine in Sydney, a shower in Brisbane and heavier rain further north. Kim just got the email from the footy club with all the new membership packages. I've picked mine out, and this new mascot, Rumman, is it a he-devil or a she-devil like you?
Gosh, sometimes it pays not to respond. Thank you, Murph. And that is all your news for now. We'll have updates later. Good night, everyone.